What's good, my people? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you the most underrated, underutilized exercise that you can do for your chest to increase those chest gains and get more out of your chest workouts. Now, some of you may have seen this exercise before and maybe forgot about it. Others may have never seen this before. So stay tuned in and I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to increase your chest gains. So guys, the number one exercise most people correlate when it comes to building up their chest is most likely push-ups, and the majority of people perform their push-ups on the ground, bringing their chest to the ground, coming back up. Now, where this is great, there's more that we can do. So we are going to perform deficit push-ups today. So we're going to put ourselves at a deficit. I'm going to show you the equipment that you can use in order to get more out of the push-up. So guys, this is my setup for the deficit push-up, and if you don't have a setup like this, I'm going to show you some variation substitutes that you can use as well, so don't panic. But I'm just going to show you on this because this is probably going to be the most beneficial variation that we're going to do. So with deficit push-ups, we want to make sure we have an elevated surface to raise our foot on. Doesn't really matter how high the surface is, it just needs to clear the ground at a respective height. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure our rings as well are a little bit lower than our surface, and then as we come into a normal push-up, it's going to allow us to get a greater range of motion and put more stretch on the chest, which is going to allow us to recruit more muscle fibers. And that means more hypertrophy, more gains, a bigger, stronger, and wider chest. Now, deficit push-ups, obviously, if you're going to use ring, there is a level of instability involved. That's not a problem. We don't mind instability in a safe manner because that is going to allow us to use our core more, and we're going to have to recruit more muscle fibers to control the movement. So, deficit push-ups, again, a greater range of motion involved, and we're just controlling the movement and pushing back up. Now, we don't want to go too deep to the point where, you know, we're actually working our shoulders, or should I say our front shoulders, more than our chest. But it does allow us to get a little bit deeper than when we are compared to the floor, because obviously the ground is a limiting factor when you're doing your push-ups on the floor. But compared to this, there is no limiting factor. So if you have really good shoulder health, shoulder mobility, I mean, look, you can go almost way past your hands and then explode back up, and that is going to be so beneficial for you. Now, even if you don't have the greatest shoulder mobility or range of motion in your shoulders, you can build up the tolerance with that by doing these as well. So gradually, each time you do them, you can go deeper and deeper into the stretch portion of the deficit push-up, and that's going to improve, you know, your shoulder health, your joint health, everything else involved in that is going to allow you to become more mobile and flexible in that range of motion. So this is just to show you from another angle. It's going to really allow you to see the range of motion that we can go to, the stretch that we can get on the chest, and then we can just push back up like that. Again, make sure your core is engaged. We don't want the hips sagging for this. We want to make sure that the core is engaged properly. Everything is parallel, nice and parallel to the ground, and we're just making sure that we're controlling the descent, and then we explode back up. We don't want to start lacking on anything. Again, quality over quantity. So make sure the movement is performed correctly. And again, with this, the range of motion, again, is going to be excellent. It's going to allow you to really open up your chest, your front shoulder, and also it's going to make your triceps work even harder as well, because you're going to get a deeper stretch on the triceps as well. So you can't really go wrong with this. It's an amazing exercise, but I'm going to show you the variation that you can do if you don't have rings. So if you don't have rings, what you're going to do is you're going to grab some bricks, some books, anything like this platform setup, which is going to allow you to elevate yourself off the ground. Even if you have parallettes and you have to put your feet on a sofa or a chair or anything like that, it is still going to allow you to perform the movement, and it is going to allow you to get into a deeper range of motion. You see how far I can get down on my chest now, and then push back up just like that. Again, it takes out the fact of the ground being the limiting factor. Really a good stretch on the chest. Now you can see, literally you can use anything. I'm sure most people in the world can find a set of bricks, books, tables, chairs, anything. You could use 3 chairs and still perform this movement. What we're just trying to make sure is that we're elevated off the ground and we are able to get more deficit in our push-up, leading to more gains. Now, once you do get good at these, you can start to add weight. So for example, if I had a weight vest on, perform the same movement, or you can put a weight plate on your back, perform the same movement, and then push back up. The added weight obviously is going to lead to more hypertrophy, and that means a bigger and stronger chest, and you're going to look amazing at the beach, the park, wherever you go. If you want to take your top off, you know, in the supermarket, up to you, but the gains are going to be there. So I'll just grab a weight plate very quickly to show you. Again, if you're going to do these on rings, you could probably use, you know, a weight belt and put it around the top part of your back. That's another way you can do it. You can also put a backpack on, or just get someone to lie on your back. Simple, you know, still gonna lead to more gains. But if you just have, like, for example, a weight plate or books or anything like that, or a water bottle, you just want to balance it on the upper part of your back. You don't want it on the lower back, because we're not trying to work the lower back. We want the upper part of our back, and that's just gonna add more resistance to the movement. If you've got a partner, obviously they can hold the weight plate in place for you so it doesn't slip off, especially when you start to get a little bit sweaty, and then you can just safely remove the weight plate after your set, or you can slide it off to one side. But that is a way that you can perform the deficit push-up without rings. But there is one more variation I'm going to show you, depending on the equipment that you have, so there's no excuse. Here is another option. So let's say you have dip bars, or you have just 2 chairs that you can use. You can find a ledge. Doesn't have to be particularly high, but you either want it the same height as the dip bars or higher. Fortunately, this wall is higher, so what we're going to do again is we're going to come up here, and again it's going to allow us to get a deeper stretch on the chest, controlled, more gains. Now, if you're going to use chairs, make sure you secure them properly. You may have to put, again, maybe bricks on either side of the chairs, books, water bottles, anything heavy enough to hold the chairs in place, because trust me, I've done it on chairs. I've had some close calls. I think one of my videos that went viral on TikTok was me doing weighted push-ups on chairs, and it kind of shifted in the video, so that's probably why it went viral. However, this again is going to allow you to get that deeper stretch on the chest, and especially with this one, you can put a weight belt or something over your back to make it harder. So right now I'm unable to do weighted push-ups for different reasons, but it is really a fantastic movement. Again, if we can see that extra stretch that we get on the chest, and then we explode back up. Now, the range of motion, of course, is up to you, depending on your fitness level and other things of that nature, but it's an amazing exercise. Just to show you from, again, alternative angle, which will allow you to see the chest go lower than the bars, which means it's going lower than my hands. It's really getting that stretch. More muscle fibers are being recruited, and they're getting those extra gains. Now, for example, this would mimic, you see where they have, I think it's called a camber bar. So the bent bar that allows you, if you were doing bench press or incline press, there's a bent bar that allows you to get a deeper stretch, you know, when you're performing those sort of movements. So it is, again, similar to that, where we want to just make sure that we're getting the muscle fibers activated, recruited, and we're getting more bang for our buck when performing the exercise. As I said previously, the parallettes don't need to be that high. If you have the smaller parallettes, you just got to find something to put your feet on. Half the job is done. But guys, it's a great way to improve the chest gains. If you don't have weights, you can always use a weighted vest. The weighted vest is probably the most ideal way to perform these if you want to add weight. And be careful of progression as well. You don't want to overdo it and start jumping in and trying to do a 50 kg deficit push-up. No, you want to gradually increase with some progressive overload. You can aim for about 6 to 8 reps, then go up in weight, and then just carry on until, you know, you reach your final destination. But at the end of the day, it's an exercise that you can perform at home, probably just anywhere. You can perform it at the gym, anywhere possible. It's a great exercise. Again, it's a basic exercise, but it's one of the best tools to keep in your arsenal to push up, because it's just you can just do it anywhere. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. And again, you can put a backpack on your back to make it harder as well, so you can make those gains regardless. But anyway, hope you enjoyed watching. I hope this video helped. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.